Start. MTC. Q-7 number 1. It was about midnight when we were passing right over DFW Airport. DFW. Everything was going fine. All of a sudden the cockpit lit up like it was daylight. I could not figure out what was going on. I thought maybe we were in the headlights of a big jet going into DFW. DFW. I told my passenger to look for planes. The tone of my voice really scared him and he was frantically looking around. I started to make a clearing turn to the left, but I could see nothing. Then all at once I saw it, a big glowing ball of fire coming right at us at 12 o'clock. 1-2. I instinctively pushed in on the control wheel as the object kept coming at terrific speed. As it got closer, I could see that it was solid rock about 10-15 feet in diameter. 10-15. It soared about 2,000 feet over us and then we were plunged back into darkness. 2,000. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Q-7 number 2. Most of us are embarrassed to admit that our opinions can be strongly affected by an appeal to our emotions. We tend to take pride in our rationality and feel a bit ashamed of our emotions, as if rationality were more likely to be right and the emotions commensurately apt to be wrong. Where rationality is concerned, we feel in control; where emotions dominate, we feel out of control, as if our emotions have a life of their own and are even somewhat alien to us. This is a cultural prejudice. Our emotions, no less than our faculty of reason, are part of us, and there is nothing abnormal or regrettable, let alone shameful, about being moved by emotion. In fact, very few of the major decisions we make are based purely on reason or purely on emotion. Even the most rational of decisions typically have an important emotional component, and many emotionally motivated decisions are quite reasonable. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Q-7 number 3. An American native, golden seal is a member of the buttercup family that once grew in great abundance in the eastern deciduous forests of the United States. Golden seal. The golden part of its common name comes from the bright yellow interior of the plant's fleshy rhizomes, underground stems. Golden seal is a reference to small, circular marks on the rhizome's twisted, wrinkled surface that were thought to resemble the decorative seals once used to stamp warm wax onto envelope flaps. Seal. Native American tribes used golden seal to produce a beautiful golden yellow dye. Golden seal. They also used the herb medicinally and introduced European settlers to its healing properties in the 1700s. 1700. A century later, golden seal had gained such popularity that it was severely overharvested, an assault that continued into the 20th century, until wild stocks were legally protected. Golden seal, 20. Now cultivated, but still scarce in the wild, golden seal is a top-selling herbal supplement marketed to aid digestion, to treat infection, and to boost the immune system. Golden seal. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Q-7 number 4. Companies that inspire, companies that command trust and loyalty over the long term, are the ones that make us feel we're accomplishing something bigger than just saving a dollar. 1. That feeling of alliance with something bigger is the reason we keep wearing the jersey of our hometown sports team even though they have not made it to the playoffs for 10 years. 10. It's why some of us will always buy products from a certain brand over other brands, even if the brand isn't always the most affordable choice. Whether we like to admit it or not, we are not entirely rational beings. If we were, no one would ever fall in love and no one would ever start a business. Faced with an overwhelming chance of failure, no rational person would ever take either of those risks. But we do. Every day. Because how we feel about something or someone is more powerful than what we think about it or them. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Q-7 number 5. If leadership ability is inherited, the selection and recruitment of managers as potential leaders would only focus on the candidate's parents and ancestors. Evidence of work experience would not be valued. Moreover, if leaders are born and not developed, then high-performing people would always emerge regardless of the business context, their management ability or the company's willingness to recruit and select well, or coach, mentor, train, develop and evaluate employees. Furthermore, attempts to improve performance would be a wasteful exercise. Such an idea should not be taken too seriously. So why, then, have I mentioned it? Simply because, in my experience, some managers manage their people based on this idea, and it prevents them from applying the person management skills and techniques that lead to improved performance. I feel that it is far better to accept that the work environment, including management action, shapes people's behavior and abilities, and that every manager can improve the way they manage people regardless of innate characteristics. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Q-7 number 6. Customers like email because it's easy to use and it gives them immediate access to organizations. Most of the time, customers receive an automated response indicating that their email has been received and stating when they can expect to get a response. However, even automated responses need to be phrased appropriately. Some years ago, a clothing company used to send out an automated reply that read, "While we cannot get back to you personally, we do appreciate your input." That response didn't provide much satisfaction or a feeling of connectivity. Researchers Judy Strauss and Donna Hill, in one of the first major studies covering consumer complaints sent by email, found that less than half, 47%, of the firms studied created higher customer satisfaction with their in-kind email responses. Judy Strauss, Donna Hill, 4-7. They found that simple things make a difference. This included a fast response, an email that addressed the specific problem, and an email that was signed with a real person's name. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Q-7 number 7. Emotion seems to assert itself most powerfully in the realms of mass media entertainment. Entertainment is a performance or other presentation intended to induce enjoyment, an emotional condition. If we are comfortable associating pieces of music with emotions, then we will be even more inclined to do the same in the case of the expressive and immersive medium of film. According to film theorist Annabel Cohen, emotion characterizes the experience of film, as it does the experience of music. Annabel Cohen. What is said of film likely applies to other dramatic narrative forms, including documentary, news reports, reality television shows, soap operas, cartoons, sports, game shows, and computer games, anywhere there is narrative, plot, character, and scenery. This is where emotion creeps into almost every corner of design and creative production, through the back door via the mass media. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Q-7 number 8. In a study, researchers examined the breaks taken by instructors at a cheerleading camp. Each of the instructors carried a palm-sized personal computer, and was beeped randomly throughout the day. Whenever the instructor was beeped, he or she responded to questions on the computer regarding any breaks taken since the last session. The authors coded breaks as respites if they involved napping, relaxing, or socializing. They coded breaks as chores if they involved such activities as practicing material or preparing for upcoming sessions. The researchers videotaped instructors performing their jobs, and raters judged the extent to which the instructors appeared energetic, enthusiastic, alert, and sincere, i.e., demonstrated positive emotional displays. The results showed that taking breaks characterized as respites was associated with higher ratings of positive emotional displays, whereas taking breaks characterized as chores was not related to the instructor's performance. In addition, instructors reported more positive emotions when taking respite breaks, but reported more negative emotions when taking chore breaks. The above study shows that breaks characterized by detachment from primary work tasks will aid in the restoration of energy levels needed for performance. MTC. Good job.